Something amuses you. Perhaps you'll share the joke with me.
The joke is you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Fully Functional, a TNG podcast. I'm Maggie, joined by Jeff and Dory. We're two nerds and a noob. I'm making that a thing now. I'm sorry.
Damn it.
You're just going to have to deal with it.
I hope you forget next time we record.
Today we're discussing episode 9 of season 1 of Star Trek The Next Generation, called Hide and Q. Original air date November 21st, 1987. You know what? There's a lot with this one, so let's just roll right into the recap. Take it away, Dory.
Okay, so the gang is flying to a planet where there's been like an explosion and people are hurt and stuff. And on the way, Q decides to fucking show up. And Picard says the same sentiment that I think. He goes, "Not now, damn it, Q." And I was like, same. So Q shows up in the form of a triple head snake floating thing, which I'm not a fan of, but you know, we don't have to see it for that long. Q then transforms into a real fancy Starfleet outfit. I mean, I said I wanted looks. Q brought the looks this episode. So Q's like, "I know you guys are in the middle of some shit, but I'm more important. So put the life-saving mission to the side for now. And I'm going to be a huge asshole and be annoying." And, did somebody say games? Let's do some bullshit on another planet, which I have which I wrote in my notes. I called it, "They all appear on Green Screen Planet." In which he brings down Yar, Worf, Geordi, and Riker and Data. And they're like, "What the hell are we doing here?" And then, of course, Q is hanging out in his little, tent set up in his martial outfit.
I love how dismissive you are of that. Just like his tent set up in his...
It's so dramatic.
Martial outfit.
I do like the outfit. I always appreciate a good costume change. Yep, and this was great. It's pretty easy to place. So he sits down. He invites Riker to come sit down, and he's like, "Have a drink of your choosing." And so I assume, before they said it was lemonade, he came and sit down and wanted a Smirnoff Ice, because that's what it looked like was in the glass.
Ooh.
Yeah, it definitely did.
I was going back and forth. I was like, is that a Mike's Hard Lemonade or a Smirnoff Ice?
Why not both?
I think Riker's a Mike's Hard Lemonade, too.
I think so,
Probably.
too. Especially if he's a bro.
I actually have a Smirnoff Ice in my fridge that I've had for months, and I was like, "Is this Smirnoff Ice?" And I went and checked, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that 100% looks like a Smirnoff Ice in this episode." So they have a drink. They offer so he gives drinks to everybody else. Worf pulls the power move where he just turns it to the side, dumps out all of the drink, whatever that red stuff was, while makes direct eye contact with Q and then smashes the glass.
And he never breaks eye contact.
An icon. Truly iconic.
Yeah, when that happened, I literally screamed out, "Yes!"
Perfect.
I
love that moment.
Worf gets some good little parts in this. He gets some little moments in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. There's some nonsense. I just watched this episode and I've already forgotten so much of it.
Jeez. It feels pretty long, doesn't it?
Well, he also, Q keeps sending people up and down that it's hard to keep track of, who is at what level, who's on the ship. Oh, yeah, okay, so back on the ship, Picard is there by himself. He can't open doors that automatically open, and he is shocked. Oh, yeah, and then Tasha is, says something back to Q, so he puts her in the penalty box. And then Picard, comforts her, which is very sweet, but then Q makes it weird real quick. Oh, yeah, so then they, send people back up. And then, they've got these, other French soldiers with, that are some kind of alien faces and stuff. Riker has a really creepy, weird laugh while lying on a rock, in which Q appears to him to talk to him in the same outfit as him. So, twins. and he wants to give Riker power, like power of the Q or whatever. And Riker's like kind of into it because it does kind of save their life. But then like, oh yeah, oh my God, Worf gets fucking stabbed. Wesley gets stabbed because they're like, yeah, let's bring Wes this time. In which, by the way, wearing the sweater.
Yeah.
Second episode in a row wearing the sweater.
I think this one's slightly different because the sweater, like the color stripes are actually part of the sweater. It's not like a different layer this time.
Oh.
I don't know. It looks like the same one as before, but I could be wrong.
Oh, okay. I'd have to go back and check, but
so then
it doesn't matter.
Picard and Riker's lines, though, were... I kind of laughed. So when like Wesley is stabbed, in which I wrote, Wesley is fully stabbed. Riker goes, look out. And then Picard, of course, nobody moves, but Picard yells out, Wesley, no. And then Riker really takes Wesley's stabbing to heart, and he goes, no, damn it to hell. And then he throws up his arms like a fucking Sailor Scout to like put the barrier up to save their life. And then Riker brings everybody back to the bridge, and he's like, now, oh yeah, they finally, this episode feels like 1,000 things happened. Then they finally end up at the planet they were supposed to be helping, and like a little girl, unfortunately, has died. And Picard, and before they went down, he was like, you can't use the Q powers. And Riker was like, okay, I won't. And then Data, like, wow, way to be, kind of like an enabler. He's like, Riker, if you use those powers, this little dead girl would no longer be a dead girl, she'd be a living girl. And Riker's like, yeah, but I made a promise. And Data's like, basically like, yeah, fuck your promise, and here, slippery slope, buddy, now.
That's pretty lame, loser.
Yeah, so Riker's not happy he didn't get to use his powers, but then he like goes on a bit of a power trip and is like, I know what everybody wants and I'm gonna give it to them. And then it just gets weird real fast.
As if it hadn't already been weird.
Yeah, so then he's like, Wes, we're real tight, we hang out a fuck ton, I know exactly what you want, to be 10 years older. And then he turns him into a guy who looks nothing like him.
Yes.
Not even a little bit. But he also
Perfection.
keeps the same sweater on, so the sweater grows with him.
Yeah, good casting.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Even as a child, you could tell, okay, he's not going to grow up to look anything like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. The guy didn't even have the same hair color. So, yeah, that was really creepy. And I do like that immediately Dr. Crusher was like, no, we're not doing this with, and tries to take Wesley out of there. But Riker really has some issues with consent a little bit in this context and is like, yeah, no, I'm going to give a minor an upgrade to like being older, which is weird. And then he's like, okay, Data. And Data's like, oh, hard pass, despite me enabling you earlier, hard pass.
They just didn't want to do the makeup change.
Yeah, probably. And then he goes to Geordi and gives Geordi his sight. Honestly, though, okay, sorry, I have to back up for one quick sec. When he was saying that he knows Wesley so well, I thought there was like a tiny thing at the back of my mind was like, oh, is he going to bring back Wesley's dead dad?
Oh, jeez. That's fucking dark.
And I was like, that would make things real awkward for Picard and Beverly.
Oh, man.
But
Jean-Luc, you killed me.
But thankfully that didn't happen. This like terrifying thing did instead. I thought like Geordi's response was really great, that he's like, yeah, this isn't a great move for me. It's cool. He gets to compliment Yar and then goes back to his original eyesight. And then Riker is like, yeah, this probably makes me feel like an idiot. And I don't feel great about any of this. And Picard's like, haha, told ya, bitch.
Gotcha.
And then Q is like, no, but there's other things we can do. And Picard's like, I don't think so. Fuck off, Q, you lost. And Q's like, no. And then, this is something, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but I had to rewind it like 3 times to just make sure I wasn't misseeing. So there's 4 flashes at the end. Flash number 1 is Q disappearing. Mm-hmm. Flash number 2 is Wesley turning from 25-year-old Wesley into 15-year-old Wesley.
Yep.
Number 3 is the Klingon woman disappearing, which, oh my God, that in itself, that's a whole thing. That's fucking wild.
Yep.
And then
Yeah.
Flash 4 was just moving where people were sitting and standing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Literally,
notice
Wesley literally moved 2 steps from where he was. Dr. Crusher moved a couple of feet. Data and Geordi were literally just on other chairs, just a few feet behind them. And for
Yep.
some reason that was like, yes, one more flash to put everybody back in their seats. But that's just Wesley still standing.
Just to show how powerful they are.
Yeah, I felt that was a really, really unnecessary.
Well, what they're trying to do is be like, oh, we're at the exact moment in time where we left off.
Yeah.
And that's where everyone was sitting and standing at that point.
Okay.
But it just looks weird when you're only moving
Yeah.
like 5 feet.
Yes.
Yeah, because Wesley was standing like 3 steps from where he was standing.
Yeah.
So he was standing before and now is just standing 1 foot farther from where he was standing.
Yeah.
That must also be so jarring to be transported a foot from where you just
Yeah.
were.
Yeah.
Not even across the room, just like a foot. Yeah, this was a lot. This is a ton in this episode.
Yeah.
Despite being a ton, this is the first episode that does not include any Deanna Troi at all.
Oh, actually, that was something that I thought was really interesting because I wonder how things would have turned out if she was there, because she had a relationship of some capacity
Yep.
with Riker prior to him joining the Enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if her influence, like her stuff, like this I felt like it almost would have been more interesting if she was there, because like
Yeah.
she maybe would have been able to talk him down earlier. I don't know. I feel like there would be sort of a different, maybe but more of like an emotional impact because of her connection with him from before.
The thing is that she is in the script. Her lines were either cut or they were given to Denise Crosby, Lieutenant Yar. And it seems like, from what I can find on it, Marina Sirtis wasn't available to shoot the episode, and her part was not super important anyway, so they just wrote her out on set, basically.
Oh, that feels such like a missed opportunity, because they made it a thing in the first episode that they
Yep.
knew each other. And she calls him that weird nickname.
Imzadi.
Yeah, but then like since then, there's been nothing between them. They've done, other than like when she had the drunk thing. But other than that, there's been barely any kind of but also that episode she's drunk, that was the episode later. So like
Yeah.
there's been basically like no confrontation.
Don't you want to feel me in your mind?
Oh God.
Ugh. Yeah, I figured it was probably like a scheduling conflict or something.
So that's part of it, but another part of it is that this episode went through a lot of rewrites.
I can
This
tell.
is the first episode that one of the showrunners, or producers at this point, who becomes a showrunner, Maurice Hurley, wrote. And supposedly, Gene Roddenberry was really not happy with his rewrite, and then rewrote it again himself. And apparently they started avoiding each other when they would pass by each other in the halls, which would be 4 or 5 times a day after this episode. So, good times, drama on the set.
Oof. Yeah, this feels like a thing that like went through a bunch of different hands.
This is also the first time that Worf is referred to as microbrain.
I love that he, like, Q calls him that, and then he proves he doesn't have a small brain by growling at him.
Yes.
Worf gets to growl quite a bit in this episode.
I love, like, when Q first shows up and he just leaps over the control panel.
Yes, that was
Oh
great.
god, yeah, that was great.
It was like, there was no need to do that.
I wrote Worf jumps into action.
Literally. I feel like that shade that he gave Q in that moment was his one-liner. Like, because he didn't have too many lines that were actually important, but, you know, every time that he's interacting with Q, it's a big, like, fuck you. Just silently. That's Worf's one-liner this episode.
Okay, so to me in this episode, Riker gets corrupted way too fast.
Yes, it's basically near instant.
He's like, oh, I have power, I'm a dick now.
Yes. Suddenly loses all of his chill.
To be fair, that
Yeah.
is a bro move.
That's a good point. And we really haven't seen that much, like, character development wise of Riker at this point. So I don't know, maybe Riker just gets pissed real quick as far as they know at this point in writing the series.
And I have to say, since we've come up with the bit of, like, that Riker's in love with Picard, it's made everything extra interesting to watch. It honestly, for me, it adds so much when I just, like, pretend that Riker's in love with Picard.
It's just a lover's squabble, it's fine.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
When he called him Jean-Luc, jaw dropped.
Yeah. And then and then Picard, like, establishes his boundaries, and he's like, no, don't call me by my first name. Because, like, so Q is, like, beaming people back and forth, and at one point he beams Picard down, and Picard, like, weirdly blames Riker, and he's like,
immediately.
If you know anything about this, and Riker gets, like, pissed, and I'm like, oh, lover squirrel. And, like, that's my justification for the rest of the episode why Riker is acting so bitchy.
That's fair.
Because he's mad at Picard. And he's like, see, I can do shit on my own.
While on the topic of lovers, though, do you recall when Tasha's up there on the ship alone with Picard, and she has that really weird moment?
Oh, yeah.
Which doesn't fit with, like, anything else in the episode, where he's, like, consoling this strong woman, because, you know, women have to be emotional, because that's Star Trek.
Yeah, they turn her into a damsel in distress, because that's what you do with the one of the most competent female characters.
But then, on top of that, the way that they end that before Q suddenly appears and interrupts is she kind of gives him a once-over, and she says, if you weren't the captain, and, like, trails off, and then Q interrupts, and it's like, wait, what were you gonna say?
That's a very weird to me. It's like, okay, I get it, but, like, that doesn't fit anything we've seen.
Yeah, were you about to say I'd bang the captain? Because, like, Q immediately accuses Picard of, like, fraternizing with the crew.
Yeah, it's like, are you... it's kind of gross thinking about it. It's like, are you, like, ready to bone down because he was nice to you?
Yeah.
Like, and that, like, I just hate that they did that.
Yep.
Like, did they really need to make her attracted to Captain Picard?
Absolutely not. And you know what? I don't think that that's ever mentioned again.
Yeah. It's so weird.
This episode has a lot of moments.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way, back to the Riker and Picard and love thing.
Oh, yes.
Sorry. Yeah.
Finally, a wholesome topic.
At one point, Q says, "Oh, come on, Riker, you're beginning to sound like your captain." And then Riker's like, "Now that's a compliment, Q."
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, it is."
Just for fun, I kind of imagined it as, like, basically Q being like, forget about him, like, you know, come be with me. And by the end, Picard's basically like, see, you're wrong to leave me. He's like, I never should have doubted you.
Did you guys notice how much fucking sass Geordi has in this episode? Like, every time that a new scene starts, he is there to deliver some sort of sarcasm, and it is brilliant.
I mean, he says when Wes turns into the adult, Geordi's like, "Hey, Wes, not bad."
Oh yeah, he's fully hitting on him.
Oh, Geordi.
When they get brought down to the planet a second time, and he's just like, "Oh, not again."
Yeah, it's so great. Oh man, when he takes out LeVar Burton's so cute.
I wrote that too. I wrote he's so adorable.
Like when you get to see his eyes, so cute.
He has big eyes.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, Geordi got a lot of good stuff in this episode.
He did. Like, it's weird because they're not exploring his character, they're just giving him personality. Which, I mean, flavor text is nice. I like flavor text. But I'm hoping they eventually get to doing something with him sometime soon, because I don't remember why LeVar Burton stuck around.
Yeah.
Maybe he just liked being sassy like this.
Oh, I love, like, Picard tells Riker, like, you can't use this power, blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, Riker's bummed out about the dead child. And he's like, I could have saved her. And then Picard's like, you were right not to try.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, you were correct in leaving that child dead.
Like, this episode has chosen exactly where it wants to stand from like
Yeah.
a moral standpoint, and it's just going like full on with it. It's not even apologizing for its attitude.
So they spend like I think literally half the episode getting to the point where Riker gets the powers,
Yes.
and they barely explore the ethics of using the powers.
Nope, just don't do it, the end. And that's it. They've made their decision.
Basically, because I think that would be an interesting thing to explore, is like,
It would.
is it right to use these powers? Like, where's the limit? And that kind of thing.
But instead, nope, it's not right. Where's the limit? Right here. The end.
Yeah.
I suppose they also picked like the worst possible situation. They're like, hey, you shouldn't use your powers, but look, a full out dead child. Maybe
Yeah.
you could have saved that child.
I mean, that was literally their... that's like when...
It's like the worst possible scenario. It's like
Yeah.
you could have saved this dead child.
I'm sure that was part of Q's strategy.
Oh, probably.
I'd say that was part of the writer's strategy to get the audience to feel bad for him, because it's like in a movie where it's like, oh, this person's dying of cancer. And you're just
Yeah.
like, yeah, right, okay, whatever.
So Q steals Riker because, like, apparently Riker's special. I'm remembering now that the series overall kind of has, like, a boner for Riker. Where,
Yes.
like, Riker is fucking awesome at a lot of things. And he's special.
Everything.
Which, like, here's the thing. He's the first officer on the Enterprise, so he's probably, like, really good at a lot of stuff.
Yep.
So that makes sense. But yeah, so Q kidnaps Riker, and they're, like, playing a game. So they put a wager, and then Q goes back to Picard and puts on another wager about whether Riker will win or not. And it's just like, there's a lot going on here.
Lots of wagers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Picard and Q, then they get to have their quote off.
Yes, I wrote down that Picard... I kind of loved it. I love that they're having this fight, but with Shakespeare quotes.
Yeah.
I actually quite like that scene.
Yeah, they have the Shakespeare off.
I actually wrote, but I mean, on a personal level, to have Patrick Stewart recite Shakespeare to me. Yes, please.
Yes.
It's not even the last time that they do that.
Yay.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I like Shakespeare. It just, like, for whatever reason, coming from Q, it just, ugh. There's also something about, like, certain people reciting Shakespeare off the top of their head that I'm just like, ugh, I threw up in my mouth.
No, it's actually a fundamental part of Picard's character.
That's fine. I like Picard,
Yeah.
so I don't mind it coming from him.
Fair.
Patrick Stewart can get away with it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he is a Shakespearean actor.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, okay. So I'd like to have, like, a quick Q corner, if you will.
Okay.
Sure.
So I counted, I might have missed something, but I counted 5 Q outfits in this episode. So we've got the snake, the triple head
Yeah.
snake thing. I think that counts.
Yeah, that's an outfit.
Then he's got his Starfleet, his jazzed up Starfleet outfit.
Yeah, the Admiral dress uniform, I believe.
Yes. And then the French Marshal thing. And then he dresses up in Riker's outfit, so they get to be twins.
Twinsies.
And then he wears those dramatic robes in which he has his
Oh, yeah,
cross.
the monk robes.
And he really goes ham on that, like, monk situation. So I
Oh,
counted
yeah,
5.
that was good stuff.
I don't know if this counts, but he does dress up as Data as well.
Oh,
Oh
yes.
my god, I forgot about that. Oh my god. Okay, then
Yeah.
6. I
Yeah.
forgot about
6
that.
costume changes.
Yeah, I mean, that is what I wanted. I did want some looks. Him as Data was so scary. Was truly terrifying.
It's very creepy. Because it's like, you kind of, like, you get used to Brent Spiner as Data, and you're like, okay, your brain gets used to it. But then seeing, like, someone else look like that is just really off-putting.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
I did enjoy Riker's power trip when he
Yes.
comes
It was
back.
funny.
Yeah, when he comes back to the ship after he's spoken to Picard about that he feels bad that he couldn't do anything to help the dead girl. He's like, I want to have a meeting with the bridge staff, and Picard's like talking like, okay, when this mission is done, we'll get everybody together. And in the middle of Picard talking, Riker just leaves. Just walks away from him like, I'm done talking. I'm good. And then like 5 minutes later, not even, everybody is assembled. Wesley isn't here like, I'm here, and
I'm important.
Riker's like, what
Yeah.
are you doing here? And apparently his best friend Wesley, he doesn't want in the room.
Yep.
He's like, well, you helped make me an ensign, whatever.
Ensign.
And so ensign, so I want to stay. And he's like, fine, you can stay. And so then he has a really awkward monologue. So then he's like, because I've been given unusual powers, I'm not suddenly a monster, except for these abilities, and I don't know how far they go. I'm the
Also
same.
acting like a dick.
Yeah, I'm the same William T. Riker you've always known. Nobody moves except for Dr. Crusher crosses her arms, and then Riker
Yeah.
goes, well, and then literally nobody moves. Nobody does anything. And then I wrote underneath, I wish Troy was there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we said there's no Troy in this episode, but I forgot to mention on the previous episode, Troy actually finally gets some shit to do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I hope she gets more shit to do.
Yeah.
So on that note of like Riker's power trip, I love the first time he comes back to the ship after he's saved everybody, like on the planet, he's standing like so proud. Like he has his arms crossed and his back is like super straight.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he's like looking down on everyone, and it's so great. That he's like, the second he used the Q powers, he became a fucking asshole.
Literally, as soon as he used them, it's like, I am God. That's it. What is with God stuff this season? Holy shit, we're like 10 episodes in, and we've had 3 episodes concerning the nature of God.
Yeah, I think even Riker goes, no one has ever offered to turn me into a god before.
Yep.
I'm like, cool story, bro.
Yeah. I think, wasn't Gene Roddenberry like really into...
God?
He was, but he wasn't the one coming up with a lot of these scripts. So, like, it's very weird.
I think, like, TOS kind of had a lot of, like, godlike aliens in it.
Yeah, that's true. Did you notice that while normally we have Wesley as the Wonderkind of the episode, this time the Wonderkind was humanity. Humanity's so great because, you know, you've got that the quote off between Picard and Q, and it comes with that tacit admission that humanity is actually super great and can become super amazing, despite Picard also being really fucking preachy about how great humanity is.
I love how genuinely angry Q gets that Picard is out Shakespeareing him.
He gets mad fast in this episode.
Yeah, it's another speech about like how great humanity is because we love to explore and learn new things and all that shit.
And apparently no one else has ever done that.
Yeah, apparently no other species has this quality, which I find that hard to believe. Also, at the end of that scene, Q throws one of the biggest books I've ever seen at Picard.
Oh my god, yes, the Shakespeare book. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's so big because it's like all the works of Shakespeare or whatever, but it's fucking huge.
That is a serious book.
How do you read that book in any practical way?
It's not there to be practical.
It's there to be pretentious.
Yeah, I think Picard has it like sitting open to a certain page in like a case.
Yes, that's right.
In like a little glass case or
Oh my
whatever.
god, is that what's behind them? Because in the background, in the episode before, I think I made a note, there was just like a glass case with a book open.
I think that's what it is,
that's
yeah.
the book. And it's always that book for the rest of the series.
Interesting.
Yeah, it looks to be the same thickness, yeah. Oh yeah, when fucking Worf gets stabbed, he just full on like Worf is like such an idiot.
Yep.
he just Leroy Jenkins into the middle of all these pigmen soldiers with phaser muskets.
Why are they pigmen soldiers? Because.
He just gets like immediately stabbed, and then Wesley, also being an idiot, just fucking runs up with all these soldiers around.
And gets immediately stabbed.
Yeah, and also gets immediately stabbed.
That scene of him getting stabbed, holy crap. Will Wheaton's face during that, he is in like brutal pain, and I am believing it.
Mm-hmm. He acted that really well, and that scene is very brutal.
Yes.
I'm sure if he said like the previous episode was where people really started to hate him, I'm sure people enjoyed that moment.
Yeah, I could see that.
Oh.
I wonder if Picard enjoyed that moment.
I mean, even though he was like, no, Wesley, no, Wesley.
Well, I mean, he said no, but he also didn't try to stop him.
Yeah, he did not move. Nobody moved.
Don't stop.
When either
No, don't.
when
Stop.
Worf or Wesley were being stabbed, nobody moved. They just shouted.
Yep.
I don't even think they shouted for Worf.
Yeah, no, they didn't.
I think they just shouted for Wesley. Oh my god. Okay, can we talk about the Klingon lady?
You can, because she was pretty scantily clad for someone who was also wearing wool fishnets.
Yeah.
That trend continues with Klingon women, and I'm not mad.
True.
It was definitely a look. I wrote, Riker gives Worf a Klingon woman with some legit cleavage and a leotard.
Yeah. I actually really loved the shoulder things. Like the sort of spine-looking thing that went down the arms.
You end up seeing that on the back of future Klingon costumes. But on that note, Doria, a nice little tidbit of background information for you. Klingon women in Star Trek are often shown with like big amounts of cleavage, and it's been come to known, at least behind the scenes, as Klingon cleavage, spelt with a K.
Oh my god. Wow.
Klingon women, I think I think it's probably they're making up for the quote-unquote ugly face makeup.
I could see it.
To be like, okay, there's still something hot about this woman. Because a woman can't just, not be hot.
Apparently not, no.
Although, still, I'm not mad at it.
No, neither am I.
I enjoy the Klingon boob window.
For many reasons.
So, I freaking love at the beginning when Q first shows up. And Riker's like, I don't know, Q's like, I want to discuss something with you. And Riker's like, sure, if we weren't on our way to suffering and dying people. And then Q just says, your species is always suffering and dying. I think that's probably my favorite line in the episode.
Q gets some really fantastic lines in this episode. A lot better than he had in Encounter at Farpoint. I think that John Delancey really had an opportunity to go like full ham with this and explore it as much as he wanted to. And he very clearly had fun with it.
Yeah, I liked Q. I mean, I still don't like Q, but I liked him better in this episode. I found he was a bit more fun, especially because like we get to see him defeated. And he is like such a drama queen. He's like, no.
I think this is one of the, if not the most Q episodes. So like going on from here, I feel like they're more subdued than this one was. And you might prefer that. Or you might just think, nope, not wacky enough, don't care.
I think he doesn't do as many costume changes in the future,
What?
Unfortunately.
That's disappointing.
I'm sorry.
I do have one other tiny note regarding Wesley. He was called boy once in this episode.
The boy?
Q called him the boy.
Oh my god, it's spread to Q too? That's terrible.
Yeah, I say... I keep wanting to call it the boy tracker, but that sounds creepy.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate name.
But I think I have to go with it at this point.
Yeah, because there's not much else you can call it that's any better.
Yeah, it's a weird name for something that is pretty innocent, but
Yeah,
I think I might just have to stick with the boy tracker.
I felt like Picard had some equally funny moments in this too, though, because like Q gets some great lines, but like when Q first appears as the monk, and I can't remember, he's like let us pray for something, I can't remember exactly what, and Picard just stands up and says, "Let us do no such damn thing."
Yeah.
Is that when then Q holds the cross out to him?
Yes.
He's like, blasphemy. I always felt that they, like, Patrick Stewart and John Delancey really play well off each other.
Oh, absolutely. I think they're both Shakespearean actors, so that would explain it.
Yeah, that definitely would.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know Patrick Stewart definitely is, and it wouldn't surprise me if John Delancey is.
You'll find, Dory, that there is a lot of Shakespearean actor training in Star Trek actors. Not all of them, obviously, but a good chunk of them. And it'll come out because they like to do episodes that reference Shakespeare or will go into it slightly, just so that they can kind of flex it a little.
That's cool. I mean, I like Shakespeare.
Yeah, I am happy with the existence of Shakespeare.
Oh, sorry, before, there was one note I had about the scene with the Klingon woman. So I've been watching with subtitles because it helps me make sure I don't miss what people are saying, and sometimes the fan in my room is really loud.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. And I've just kind of grown accustomed to it. Anyway, when they're fighting and stuff and doing their like horny fighting, Worf growls and the subtitle says seductive growl.
Nice. Nice. That sounds very accurate.
Oh yeah, and by the way, Dory, so basically Dory, Klingon, like vanilla Klingon sex is like our BDSM sex.
Supposedly.
Okay.
Supposedly.
They're kind of inconsistent about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, they kind of established that it is rough,
Yes.
like at base level. Klingon sex is rough.
Oh, I guess that makes sense because, like, Worf said in a previous episode that, like, human women are too fragile for him.
Yeah.
Because Worf takes it to Pound Town.
In that whole scene, Geordi is horny AF. Because like when Wesley gets turned into a real boy, an older man, he's like, "Hey Wes, nice." And then when Worf is fucking around with the Klingon, Worf, is this your idea of sex? And it's like
Yeah.
the way he says it sounds subtly wanting. Just subtly, like, I'd like to see that. I'll watch. Oh, and then immediately goes to
man.
flirting with Tasha when he gets real eyes, and it's like, man, could someone not flirt with Tasha just one of these episodes, please?
No, somebody has to.
Apparently, yeah.
It was in the show Bible.
Yeah, I was gonna say the exact same thing. they wrote in the show Bible.
That was the rule. Tasha Yar. She's from. She grew up with a planet with rape gangs, and everybody's got a hit on her because she's so damn hot.
Yeah.
That was in the show Bible. It's the law.
And she is HOT, hot.
Ugh, give her
God.
more to do. She's such a badass.
Oh god, I love so many of the lines in this episode. Like when Geordi and Data come back and Picard's like asking for a report and Geordi's like, "We were attacked by these animal things." He's like, "Maybe Data can explain better." And then he opens his mouth about to like say something and then I wrote it down. He says, "You may find it aesthetically displeasing, sir. I could just file a computer report on that." Riker has this like weird laughing fit.
Oh yeah, when he's on the rock, it was terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
I wrote, Riker is sitting on a rock laughing like a complete psychopath.
He still never quite explains why he's laughing.
Yeah, he's just laughing for no reason until Q comes over.
Oh, no, I thought it was funny.
I do like his response to Q though, when Q's like, "What's the joke?" And he's like, "The joke is you."
Ooh, burn.
Oh shit, burn. I feel like the stuff about like how the crew rejects their gifts is really tacked on at the end.
Yeah, it's kind of ham-fisted.
Yeah, it's like you could, again, it's an issue of like you could have explored this more.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could have explored more about like why Geordi would reject regular sight, why Wes would reject being instantly an adult.
Yeah, they went for these like vapid explanations of just like, nope, I want to get there the hard way.
Time.
Yeah, the only one I thought they did a good job on was Data. Data had a really good explanation for not wanting Riker to turn him human.
Yes, I definitely agree.
And everyone else was like, just had this like very cheap like, it's too easy. Like you have to do things, you have to earn these things and that shit.
I will say, I did like the line that Geordi said when he refused the site, where he said, like, the price is a little too high for me, and I don't like who I'd have to thank.
Yeah, that is good.
I like that.
Yeah.
When Riker's first given the Q powers and Q sits down with him, and Riker's just like, I don't even like you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the line goes, to become a part of you? I don't even like you. I'm like, oh gosh.
Like, it's amazing. Like, the writing in this episode is technically very good. Like, they still got a ways to go, obviously, but the sass is there, the entertainment is there. At no point in this episode am I bored, even though the pacing's a little weird and there's, like, almost too much plot.
And the set is god-awful.
Oh, yeah, that's an understatement. My God.
God, it's just, it's a soundstage lit green with some fucking foam rocks tossed about.
It looks like original series. Remember when Data starts tossing aside those rocks to save the dead girl, and it's like, okay, we get it. He's lifting foam. We can see.
Well, even like when they got to the planet and Riker tries to open the door, but he can't do it, so Data comes over and basically uses one hand to just slide the door.
Does it with one hand.
I think that was kind of to show that Riker's not using his powers, though.
Could be.
But I think I enjoy Data's Data's like weird strength that he just uses casually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To just be like, look how strong I am by lifting this random ass thing.
And Riker just kind of stares, and they give us these shots of him just staring.
Oh my God. You know what'd be great? I wish somebody could put together some compilation of Riker just staring. Because so far, that would last like 46,000 hours. Is just him just
Oh, there's more of it.
Staring. Because I think that's most of what he's done in the first, like what, we're on episode 10 now.
Mm-hmm. I
think he's done more staring than talking.
Just wait until you get to the stare followed by the head turn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that becomes a Riker signature move where he stares at something for a moment and then turns away, like on purpose, like deliberately, sassily, if you will.
Oh God.
Well, I feel like we're at a point where I should ask Dory, despite the fact that we've been talking about moments that stood out to us, like for the whole episode, basically, what stood out to you the most?
Yeah, what's your favorite bits or something we haven't gotten to that you want to talk about?
I think I have a couple. So I think like my favorite line is the "not now, damn it, Q" the card in the beginning. But there's like a good, actually, like a bunch of quotes that I actually really liked from this episode. I'm just trying to find. Oh, okay. So there's like a little handful. So Picard says to Q, "What is this need of yours for costumes, Q?"
Like fully calling out the director, basically.
Have you no identity of your own? Like, it's like, oh, damn.
Shots fired.
And then Picard goes, "Can't you see, Riker? He's nothing but a Flim-Flam Man."
What did that even mean?
I don't know, but I loved it. And then I think somebody else is like, "A Flim-Flam Man?" Or Flim-Flam? Yeah. And then I like Q goes like mocking. He's like, "May I please give some happiness to my friend, sir? Please, sir."
Yeah, that was so good.
Oh, I do like when Wes like does his little explanation of why he doesn't want to be an adult. He's like, I want to get there on my own. And then just Dr. Crusher standing there like smiling like like she got her way.
Yeah.
And she's just proud of him making his decision. And I think the last one is I don't remember if I mentioned this earlier, but Q has lost and Picard goes, "Q, I strongly suspect there's some explaining you have to do now." And then Q goes, "No," and then disappears. So yeah, a lot of good quotes this episode.
Yeah.
A lot of good moments.
It's Q's Darth Vader moment.
The only one we haven't The only one we haven't gotten to on my end is probably like, I would argue the most famous line from this episode, which is, "Those aren't muskets."
Oh my God, that's famous line.
It's like fairly well. Actually, maybe.
Yeah, I don't recall that. Like, I remember it happening in the episode. I just don't recall ever hearing about it.
Oh, you know what?
Are you mixing it up with something?
No, I'm definitely not. I was influenced by SF Debris.
Oh, well then. Shout out to SF Debris, who's great. We love you.
Yes, SF Debris is amazing. He does reviews of Star Trek episodes. He's great.
We're big nerds.
Yes. Yeah, I think he uses it in his outro or something. I can't remember, but he used it for his intro or his outro.
Okay.
At some point. So I just always remember that line. I really like it.
That's fair. Yeah, it's been a couple of months since I've caught up on him, so I should do that again. So there's a moment that we didn't mention that I don't know why I had to make note of it because it was just so ridiculous. It was one of the few really big missteps that I think they made, even though it was just a dialogue choice. So Q is explaining, what he's doing to them about he's explaining that, this is like a French military tent, and, this is my setup. And for some reason, Yar just picks that moment to angrily start stepping towards him and say, Q, you've gone too far this time. And it's like, why? That wasn't about how far he went at all.
Yeah.
And that's when he gives her the penalty box thing. And I'm just like, that was a stupid reason to put someone in the penalty box, and it was a stupid thing to say. Also,
that's like a point of tension that they give up on really quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yar in the penalty box, because he's like, we can only have one person in the penalty box at a time, and if someone else commits a penalty, then she gets blasted out into nothingness.
And they don't think about it anymore. It's a problem for her, which I thought they didn't do a terrible job of, despite the fact that they turned her into a damsel.
They also, the penalty box was the bridge. So that, to me, didn't make a lot of sense.
No, that was a strange decision.
Because they were just with Picard.
Yeah, because she's physically on the bridge, but I think Q had, like, some control over her also.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it was. I think he was, like, controlling her in some way.
I just feel like it's weird to have that as the penalty box.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's like a weird concept.
Yeah, but other than that, my definite favorite line is another one that we had not brought up. It is a terribly, terribly cheesy line by Picard. I don't know how he delivered it without cracking up. Because the line is, when one is in the penalty box, tears are permitted.
Oh, yeah.
See, I found that really sweet.
Yeah, me too.
What is this, Young and the Restless? Come on.
Yeah, I know it's cheesy, but I found it sweet.
I think it's that entire scene really doesn't have any place in the episode.
No, it doesn't.
It's there. It's meant to be dramatic for that moment, and like you said with the other moment that they give up on really quickly, they give up on her side of it just as fast.
Yeah, that's also, like, they really shouldn't have done that to Tasha's character.
No, definitely not.
Because it just doesn't feel right. It feels like you're basically, like, just, taking the woman down a peg.
Yeah, they're doing Denise Crosby a dirty.
Because it didn't feel like they were trying to give her emotional depth. It just felt like, oh, woman cry.
Woman, you cry now.
Yeah.
That's very true. So, Dory, our next episode is called Haven, and in Haven, Deanna Troy's mother comes for a visit.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Okay. No, I can't ask this because I don't want the answer yet.
We're not going to answer anything that you do ask.
Yeah.
No, I know. Because, like, one of her parents is obviously the thing that's got the, like, empath stuff.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I know it starts with a B, but I can't remember what it's called.
Betazoid. That's their species, yes. And the other one is something else.
Oh, God. So, maybe she's going to visit her mother, and it's really, really nice. Like, a safe haven.
It's nice and sweet.
If you will, but not the movie. And they visit, and she just has such a nice time with her mother that she questions whether or not she should go back to Starfleet. But then oh my God. Maybe this is when Riker comes down to be like, oh, hello, Troy's mother and Troy. I'd really like it if you come back. Yeah. So maybe I'm probably asking too much because it's like an emotional decision of like, should she stay home or should she go back to Starfleet?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a hard decision.
I mean, you completely made that up. I'm not going to confirm or deny it either way.
I mean, here's the thing. I've been wrong in basically every prediction.
Nope.
You were actually pretty close last time.
Yeah, I would argue that your last prediction was on point because you predicted that Riker was going to betray the captain in some way.
Or be asked to.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay, so that's, I think, the only
you had hopes for the costume
changes. That's the closest I got.
That's right.
Yes.
And you got both of those wishes.
This one's more tricky.
Yes, this one's definitely, it has a much more vague title, where at least Hyde and Q gives away what the plot is technically going to be right at the beginning.
Oh, okay. I've got a bit of an adjustment for my theory. Okay. So, Troy's mother is in the the town. Troy goes to visit. Everything seems really good and perfect and nice, like a haven. And then, but it's actually something bad is happening. There's some secret bad stuff. So it's not really a haven after all.
Scandal.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's my theory. That's my prediction. Oh, and I'm hoping for some good outfits from Troy and some fun hairstyles.
We shall see. All right. We will see next time on Fully Functional, a TNG podcast.
Goodbye.